handmade stuff, electric outlets, a little bus connector, literally the bus box right here. There you go, full power. And that little alternator up front, that 130 amp deal, going to keep this thing up real good. Sure, it's just a code. Oh, the things you find. Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the junkyard crawl at Bernardston Auto Wrecking in Bernardston, Massachusetts. And you never know what you're going to find in the junkyard. This is a 1981 Chevy G30 conversion airport bus van thing. But more importantly, Santana up there, right? Now you got to wonder, did Carlos Santana, the guy who did Black Magic Woman, and his band come to Massachusetts and do a small tour in 1981 and maybe use this bus? With that said, I mean, the Santana logo is perfect. It's well rendered. It doesn't look like a fanboy job. We'll know more about that in a second. But before we do that, this is what we call a G30 conversion van. It was initially born as a Chevy van, a G30 one-tonner, big heavy-duty piece with a 16.5-inch 8-lug Bud-type wheels. It's a dually. The rear wheels are twins. But again, it's been converted by this guy here, Fort Bus. It's a Fort Bus. Whoever makes that, I don't know. But if we open or begin to look at the hood, we can see a few things. Now the wipers on this are here overhead, probably electric, but we can see the recessive DNA of the original wiper location here in the cowl on both sides, and even the windshield squirters right here. So the remains, the ghost of this vehicle's van-ness is on display. Now let's take a peek under the hood and see what we can learn here. Okay, small block. Now you got to keep in mind that the G-Series Chevy van was in production for many, many years, but never with a 454. Always a small block or a 6-cylinder in some cases. This one here looks to be a 350, but we can learn exactly what it is by going here to the SPID. And there it is, yes, 5.7, 350 heavy duty, 48 state, 4-barrel LT9, 410 heavy duty rear axle, heavy duty transmission, oil cooler probably, 8 by 16.5 tubeless highway wheels and tires, standard body, which was undoubtedly trimmed away when this was turned into the Fort built bus, frost white, 130 amp alternator, massive to run those wipers, all those lights, the air conditioner, fans, auxiliary oil cooler, automatic transmission, and all this good stuff here. Doeskin custom van high box, apparently. So it was born to be a conversion as far as we can tell. And here's that 130 amp alternator, this monster right here. And again, you know, the engine has to make electricity to run all the stuff on board. And on a van like this, there's probably going to be an air conditioner involved, fans, lights inside, lights outside, so that's why that big alternator is in place. So that's a 354 barrel, almost certainly a 4-bolt main block, which is a good thing if you're going to build some extra horsepower into your hot rod 350, a good core right here. Let's go inside and see if this is indeed Carlos Santana's old van or what's going on. Let's see, we'll walk in. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if Carlos drank Black Label, but it's possible. I don't know. Black Magic Label, get it? But here's something inside. Come on in, Shane. Super Shane, the cameraman. This is a 1981 Chevy van brochure right here. And here we see the Chevy trucks, an important step ahead. And have we look inside here, we'll see that on the left, that is the type of vehicle this thing was born to be. And you can see on the right-hand side, Chevy also made these big walk-in step vans. Now here's the thing, the walk-in van was a body-on-frame construction, but also quite a bit taller. The driver sat a good 1.5 feet higher from the road than in a regular van. So these cube vans like this were not often made into buses, whereas these things were. And talking about that unit construction, well, Chevy vans were indeed a unitized construction. It says here, Chevy vans body and frame are integrated into a strong single unit to carry big payloads. Floor panels are welded to heavy gauge steel side rails, cross sills, and outriggers. And here's like a little x-ray of that. And of course, rust proofing, etc. But the funny thing is, Dodge vans and Ford vans were also in the same market, but only Ford vans were body on frame. And as a heavy duty airport bus or Santana tour bus, The Ford van technically is a tougher piece, but that doesn't stop these things from being pretty rugged. This does have the automatic, that we can see it right there, but notice how the brake pedal's a small affair. Same basic pedal used on a manual transmission application. I guess Chevy saved a few pennies there. Let's look around and see what else we can find. Maybe if Carlos Santana sat right here. Here's a tape cassette. Here we go, right here. This will tell us maybe a little bit. Okay, it's faded, and this is Yes. And this is basically a Yes album. And which one is it? This is Yes's, 90215. I'm thinking maybe that was a zip code. So Carlos or whoever drove this thing was not necessarily listening to Santana. So I'm thinking this is probably more of a fanboy bus. Let's go back and check out what's happening here. Now, at one point in time, this bus was home to many different things, including a wasp's or hornet's nest right here. In the summertime, if you touched that like that, we'd be running out the door right now. But this is wintertime, so take that. But back here, some coat hooks. Maybe his Armani suit would be hung here. Maybe a sequin vest or something for performing, or not. I'm kind of getting the feeling that Carlos Santana and the band probably did not use this bus, and that was a fan appreciation graphic. Nicely done. But let's look back here and see what we find. Okay, yeah, the sleeping quarters. Top notch, first cabin. Yeah, good stuff back here. Okay, yeah, we have more guests up top here. That's nice to see right there. And goodness, we're shooting right now in December. If this was July or August, we wouldn't be in here. Yeah, handmade stuff, electric outlets, a little bus connector, literally the bus box right here. There you go, full power. And that little alternator up front, that 130 amp deal, going to keep this thing up real good. Sure, this is the code. Oh, the things you find. A little roof wigwag right here off a fire truck or a police car or something like that. Kind of cool. You can put this on the top of the van and pretend you're an emergency vehicle, cut to the head of the line. So yeah, I'm kind of adding up some clues here, and I'm not getting a Carlos Santana vibe as we stomp on all the empties. Let's have a look and see what the previous tenant, what their beverage choices were. Oh, look at this. Natural Light. This is not to be confused with Natty Ice. This is just a light beer, I believe by Miller, I guess. Old Milwaukee, gotta have that. Coca-Cola, no Coke, Pepsi. Plastic bottles, there you have it right there. Nickel right here. You know, I'm gonna cut the value of this van in half. Out the door, so it's now only worth a half a nickel. Damn it. But some cool stuff, I have to say, getting back to seriousness. This is the big side door right here that also had a lift for wheelchair access. And down below here, I'm not sure if it's still here, but if we look right here, Shane, we can see the lift operating instructions. The story on how to turn the master switch on, opens the lifts, and how to basically manipulate the wheelchair into the cargo area of the van. And kind of cool here, right? This is a jump seat. So here we have a little thing right here. We pop this down, jump in right there. It's not in line with the driver's seat, but we'll notice this thing is rigidly mounted to the floor. Fairly comfortable with these cushions. Meanwhile, the driver, who might have been part of a union, got a way better seat. You can see that this seat is probably a Bostrom. It has a suspension system and is far more comfortable to use. You got to keep in mind the driver of this thing would be on the road for a much longer time and would demand a better seat. And here, of course, is this. I've always liked this. When I was a kid going to elementary school, we rode in a bus with one of these sliding doors like this. I'll model it for you. Here we go. Well, kind of. But we used to have this joke. We go, bus driver, open the door. Joke. But we'll notice here, there's a little micro switch. Come on in here, Shane, and take a peek at this thing. Kind of cool. That thing right there is when the door opens or closes, it would hit this thing right here, and that probably was a safety of some kind, maybe an interlock against the transmission, or maybe it just turned a light on or off. This would have had a box over it right here. I'm hoping. But again, here's the backside of that 354 barrel of the HEI, again, 1981. As late as 1979, you could get a 400 small block in a Chevy van of this size, but not here. Oh, hang on. One final clue. One final clue. Bruce Cockburn. Big Circumstances. Mummy Dust. Somebody's mixtape. Here we have it right here. Silver Whales. Long. Yeah, Joy and Fine. So I don't think we have found ourselves a Carlos Santana relic. Rather, what we have is a wreck. Let's keep looking around the other side of it before we kiss this one goodbye. But again, I was kind of fooled by that Santana. That's a very faithful replica of the Santana brand graphic, if you will. But coming around to this side here, we can see where that Fort-built body is merged into the Chevy pickup truck. And here's another logo right there, Fort Bus, there we go. And down the side, of course, this is an aluminum and steel riveted construction with scuff plates along the side right here to keep minor impacts from becoming major rips in the side. And of course, here's that heavy-duty rear axle with a 4:10 ratio. And it was once a dually. Yep, this is how Chevrolet would have the male and female wheels, which are interchangeable, would slide on here. Dually heavy-duty springs, Monroe shocks in the back. Look at the leaves on that thing. This is a monster. But again, it's a 1-ton G30 Chevy van turned into an airport sort of a shuttle bus, I'm going to bet. So that's the story of the not Santana, not Black Magic Woman bus found here in the junkyard at Bernardston Auto Wrecking. Now, if you like this show or this episode, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Magazine YouTube channel and come back tomorrow for more Junkyard Gold. Crawl.